In a single day, my Christmas tree looks like this now. I don't even know where to start. Andy, who is that? No, he doesn't listen to share. I can't deal with this right now. I need to make a video out of one of these, and I think I'm going to pick... I think I'll do this one. This holiday season is pretty busy for me. I've got a bunch of gameplay videos to upload, reviews to write up, and apparently monoliths to remove from my doorstep. Just look at this thing, it's freaking massive. ICS looks to be behind this box, so I'm not complaining. I'm not the one who had to pull it up 3 flights of stairs after all. And by the amount of ICS stuff in my collection, you can probably tell that I'm a bit of a fan of theirs. So with that said, I'm just gonna rip into it. It's always a good day when new airsoft stuff is placed ironically at my door, and after getting a good peek at what's inside this thing, I can say that I'm having a pretty awesome day. They drizzled some Galil stuff in here for me. I only have 4 ICS Galils, so I'll definitely take all the parts I can gather. ICS, just send me an entire box of parts whenever you like. I'll do whatever reviews you want me to do. With this stock, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to build back up my personal Galil. That thing's been trashed since a fan messed up the stock over a year ago, so it's definitely time to bring it back. And I think I'm going to overhaul all the internals as well as soon as I get the GI Tactical in Plano, Texas. I really have some big ideas in mind. With everything on Airsoft GI, I think I can build a pretty solid gun. Moving on though, these little boxes is where things get pretty exciting for the techs out there. Have you ever heard of Master Mods? Master Mods is an individual brand that has its own team of development and manufacturing. It's a brand that ICS recently started collaborating with by pre-installing their products in some of the ICS models like the PDW-9 SSS version and the Paleodor 2.0. But not that many people know about their company at all, so ICS threw in a few inner barrels and some parts that I can try out in a few of my own guns. Like this 14mm tooth polymer piston with an 8-hole ported aluminum head equipped with a loose-fitted rubber O-ring that's been secured with a screw and a washer to the piston. And I got an aluminum cylinder head with 2 O-rings around it, a rubber padding that will make contact with the piston head, and another O-ring at the top to dampen the pressure against the inside of the gearbox when the piston is released. The surface that the piston head and the cylinder head meet matches nicely with the ports. That should do great things for the air seal, as long as all of its components are as well fitted as they feel. But we won't know fully until several people test these parts with their own guns. There's a whole bunch of different stuff that can affect air seal, but these parts feel pretty good. I just hope that these parts work out for ICS, as any development on the inside is very much appreciated, even if minor. Putting all these parts to the side with the Galil stuff, we only have what's obviously a rifle left to take a look at. If you remember this video, then you probably have a good idea what's inside. It's been a long time coming, but it's finally here. This is the ICS ARK, or ARK. The extra midcaps might have given it away already, but it's cool. It's still a really interesting AK to look at. It looks like we got M-LOK and Picatinny on the polymer handguard up front, an ACR lookalike stock in the back that houses the battery connections, a pretty cool looking selector switch that releases the tension on the mainspring when you pull it all the way up with the dust cover opened, some sick looking magazines, and some really clear iron sights out of the box with a big rail along the AKS style hinge dust cover. The huge AK-74 plastic flash hider kinda sucks since it's completely orange, but you can't really do anything about that if you order an ARK in the US. Everyone else got a really cool looking steel flash hider on 14mm counterclockwise threads, but here in the US, we got stuck with this. I'm really happy I got this variant with the OD polymer furniture because it'll help it stand out even more than it already does from all the other AKs you'll find in the airsoft world. I'll assume that I can use a lot of those master mod parts with this ARK, so that'll be fun to look at in the full-length review in the future. I'm sure that this thing doesn't even need those upgrades since all of my ICSs are pretty solid right out of the box, but we'll see. This isn't the SSS version, just the MOSFET model with the version 3 gearbox inside it. But it would be kind of interesting to get a hold of the SSS gearbox with the smart trigger so I can maybe drop one into a Galil of mine. I know I'm always talking about these rifles, but I'm just thinking out loud. I should try to put together some FPS gameplay with this thing as soon as I can. That would be a lot of fun, and I know you guys have been wanting to see some more gameplay from me actually murking people, so stay tuned for that. But all in all, this was another great unboxing thanks to ICS, who are always dishing out awesome stuff for the airsoft world. They've got a pretty long list of guns I'm interested in, and this was just one of them. So I'm happy that I finally have an ARK to study and game with, and I think I'll be taking good care of it. For sure, I'll be adding links to ICS Airsoft's website, and as soon as this ARK hits the Airsoft GI website, then you'll find links for it in the description down below. Also, when I get to rebuilding my Galil, I'll make a video out of it so you can see exactly what I'll be hooking it up with, and I think I'll save this stock for that video. But big shoutouts to ICS for sending me another box of awesome stuff for me to check out, and a really big thanks to all the people that donated in the last live stream that we did just a couple days ago. I hadn't streamed for a while, so returning for a little bit of Cold War Zombies was really refreshing. I'll be sure to do more streams and set up a Twitch account to make things easier for me. And then I wanted to take a minute to personally thank all the USAirsoft channel members, new and old. These guys help the channel directly by simply being members, which means I get to afford trips to fields or invest in new equipment to improve the channel, so I really want to say thank you to LoveAnime809, Keith Lord, Sam Elliott, Western Gilbert, Aiden Dewell, Sir Turd III, Tristan Art and Airsoft, Grupa Actual, Kiwi Spartan, Lone Wolf, The Seabull, and Sailing Ant B. Seriously, one more time, I really appreciate you all. But until that next video drops from the city of San Antonio, this has been Scott Hollenbeck, and I will be sure to see you all next time. Okay, you can stay. You can't really feather this trigger at all. It just doesn't like it, and actually lock it up trying. And another thing I noticed is while shooting this in full auto, the dust cover kind of shakes around a bit. I can see the button up here moving back and forth. You can hear the skipping, but that is from using the high cap magazine. Even with that really hideous flash hider at the end, this gun still looks really good on camera. Got the high cap magazine here. It's got a little window, so you can see just about how many BBs you got left in your high cap magazine. Let's see if this is a reliable mag. Just gonna go straight in full auto. Alright, now we're at 150 feet roughly with the ICS ARK with .28 gram BBs in the high cap magazine. We have a torso size target roughly down there at 150 feet, and I think I have the hop up adjusted for just about this range. So we're just going to go ahead and shoot some volleys of fire at it and see what we can land. That was a strange BB that just went straight to the ground. But without a sight, 150 feet really isn't a problem. I know I'm shooting some burst fire here because without that sight, I can't really see where this BB is going on semi. But yeah, at 150 feet, it's not really a challenge. Now something I really like here is the stock. I do have a battery in here. You can see the wires, they loop over from the receiver to the stock. Not very cleanly, but you can see them there next to the hinge. But it folds, it lengthens. All you have to do to lengthen it is literally just push it backwards, pull it backwards. You can see the wires when you do this, but it won't come off all the way. To get it off, you need to hit this little lever here, and then you can pull the stock completely off. Retracting it and pulling it, it's not really a hassle. We can also raise the cheek riser. That's way too high, of course, but it's a little finicky because it doesn't really stop. You can go over and end up like this. I've pinched myself a few times already doing this, but you can do that, but it's a little annoying to deal with. Popping up the dust cover, pretty easy. All you have to do is hit that button, goes up just like an AKS 74U, it's hinged. You can kind of see here, and it won't fall back down, but you can kind of see here that it's a full travel bolt on an 8K that's an AEG. That's kind of interesting. Goes all the way back, and it has quite a bit of mass, kind of like the SEMA RPKs where they have the mock piston and bolt carrier. This one doesn't have the piston, of course, but I have no worry doing this all day long. I don't feel like I'm going to break anything doing this, so if this is your thing, go for it, have fun. But if I go ahead and put this back, oh, something I missed. I mentioned this earlier. I'm pretty much done with shooting today, so there's the spring inside, the main spring. If I want to loosen the tension, just push this all the way up and you might be able to hear it. Yep. So I've always loved that feature with a lot of the ICS guns. But closing this back up, if I wanted to make an adjustment to the hop up and I just didn't want to hold this back all day long, since I have the selector switch down in the semi or full auto, pull it all the way back here and lock the selector up, and now it's going to hold onto my charging handle. So now I can make my adjustments without having to worry about holding that back the whole time or it slamming my fingers. And then mine's a little sticky, but releasing that should make that go back home.